I knew it. I knew you guys were catching on. So I feel so relieved that the news is out and I can officially say I'm pregnant. It still feels surreal, like so surreal. It's actually crazy, but I am so over the moon. I'm so freaking excited. We obviously have a lot to catch up on. I feel like I have been in hiding for months. I've known since November. And it's been so hard to keep quiet and keep it under wraps. So I figured what better way than to just sit down. I'm gonna do my makeup, get ready. I have not felt cute very much over the past few months. So doing my makeup still brings me a lot of joy, and I'll just chit chat and give you guys a recap, share everything that's been going on. Okay, so first things first, I am 14 weeks and a few days. Every Sunday starts a new week for me. So I'm 14 weeks, which is so crazy. I guess you could say I'm officially in my second trimester, which is really exciting. And like I mentioned, I found out in November. So I found out on November 12th, and I was only 4 weeks when I found out. We had been trying, so I knew like the timing of things. I had been tracking using the Flow app, so I had an idea of when my period was coming. But the first thing to really set like my senses off and make me think like, let's just go ahead and test, was my boobs. They hurt so bad. And so for that reason alone, that was really the only symptom that I had, but I figured let's go ahead and test. And I tested like 5 or 6 days before my period was even supposed to come. And it came back positive immediately. So I was in shock, like in the best way. I was so excited, but I couldn't believe like being that early, it came back so fast. So naturally, I took a million more tests just to make sure. I took a mix of pink dye, blue dye, digital, and they all came back like very much pregnant. So that was really exciting. I took the test by myself. I did not tell Chris. He obviously knew that I was tracking everything. He knew that my period was coming up, but I didn't tell him that I was going to test early. So I just kind of did that by myself. I think it was a Sunday night, and I just really soaked everything in, just kind of processed it. And I told him the next day. I did not do a good job at all with telling him. You know, it wasn't as cute as I envisioned because I'm so bad at these types of things. I just get really, really excited and I'm just nervous. I'm anxious. Like I want to tell him, and he was working from home. So he was all up in my space. I had literally no time to go out and do anything, to get creative. I mean, I could have if I wanted to like just wait a little bit longer, but guys, I could not do it. So what I ended up doing to tell him was we ordered DoorDash. We got Chipotle. I took all of the napkins, I put them at the top, on top of like my metal burrito bowl top, and I put the tests inside. So when he went to go get his lunch, they were sitting right there. Not my best work, really it wasn't, but nonetheless, it was still a sweet moment. And we were both just so excited. I do need to give some context because I feel like it's just important and will help everything make a lot of sense, and also just kind of give you guys context and background on like our headspaces and where we were like leading up to our appointments and everything like that. So in April of 2023, we weren't trying, but we weren't not trying, and I ended up finding out I was pregnant. Fast forward to what was supposed to be our first appointment in May for like what was supposed to be the 8-week ultrasound. I found out that I had a missed miscarriage. So that was obviously devastating. Like we were shocked. I felt so naive. I just, you know, I knew there was always a chance, but I didn't expect anything to go wrong. That was my first experience with pregnancy. So this is technically my second time being pregnant. But that was just like a really, really, really unfortunate experience. But it kind of set the stage for everything else and just like the journey of us getting here to me being pregnant. And obviously, you know, there's a lot of emotions and all of that. It was really hard emotionally. It was really hard physically. I had no idea how hard a miscarriage would be on your body physically, and my recovery was really long. So to give more context, I found out that I had the miscarriage in May. My HCG levels were really slow to come down, and my period did not come back until August. So my HCG levels didn't come down until beginning of August, and then end of August I got my period. We didn't try again initially that first time, and then my September period came and we decided, okay, we'll try, like actually try, not whatever happens, like we wanted to try. So I do feel really lucky that if you look at, you know, we started officially trying in September, and by November I found out I was pregnant. It was fast, but in the grand scheme of things, like it felt like eternity. It felt like a really, really, really long time. So I don't at all want that experience to overshadow the present, because we are so excited. I'm so happy, and I've obviously had time to like process everything. And you know, I wish I could have told you guys back then, but I was not in the right headspace to do that, and there was so much that was unknown, and I just quite frankly didn't feel comfortable putting that news out when I had no idea what was going on with my body and what was happening. I had no timeline on when my period would come back, anything like that. So here we are. So I tell you guys that like initially because I did film Chris as I told him, but her reactions are maybe not like the screaming up and down excited that you might expect for other couples. We were so over the moon happy, so freaking excited. But obviously when you've gone through an experience like a miscarriage or miscarriage, there is so much anxiety that sets in, and worry, and you just are cautious because you are so excited, but you don't want to get your hearts broken again. You don't want to get your hopes up. So we were so excited, but we just were also nervous because we wanted to get to that first appointment, and we just didn't want to be disappointed. So I know that's a lot, but hopefully that just sets the stage for everything. As far as symptoms go, when I found out, like I mentioned, I was 4 weeks. My boobs were really, really sore, and aside from that, I was super tired, like really tired. I felt that like kind of settle in pretty quickly, but that was really the only symptoms that I had. Week 5 was the same in terms of symptoms, just sore boobs and tired from time to time, but overall, I mean, I felt like I had a good amount of energy. Like I felt pretty normal and like myself, which was lucky because during week 5 we had Thanksgiving. And so I'm really glad that I felt fine on Thanksgiving, could eat all the yummy food. But then week 6 hit, and there is absolutely nothing that could prepare me for the level of nausea and just overall sick that I was about to feel. But I kid you not, literally the day week 6 came, it was like later in the day, I started feeling incredibly nauseous, and I just really didn't feel good. I felt just so unwell, like really sick. And throughout the week, it just progressively got worse and worse. I was glued to the couch. I could not do a thing. I could not move. I could not eat. I could not drink. I started getting aversions. Like everything smelled bad, tasted bad, sounded bad. All of my favorite foods I did not want. They did not sound good. The smells were just so horrendous. Everything smelled bad to me, literally everything. Even like my laundry detergent, like body lotions, body washes, perfumes, everything, like even good smelling things smelled bad, and then bad smelling things smelled horrific. It was miserable. And then week 7 came, and that's when morning sickness started, which I don't even know why it's called that. I think it's so rude. Mine was morning, noon, and night, which was not great. It was not great. I was really having a hard time like keeping basic things down, like even a bagel or toast, even plain pasta. Like pasta was not sitting on my stomach well at all, which if you know me, you know I love pasta. It's my favorite food. It was sad. It was so sad. Oh, and I immediately stopped drinking coffee at week 6. Like that was disgusting to me. Coffee is still a little repulsive. I haven't been drinking it, which is crazy. But yeah, it just, I mean, it doesn't sound appetizing to me. It does not sound appealing to me at all. Every once in a while, like if we go and get breakfast now, out somewhere, like I'll get a coffee, but yeah, no ordering coffee, no making coffee at home. I don't like it. My appetite was all over the place just because everything that I could eat and liked really was changing drastically from one day to the next, just depending on my stomach and what it could tolerate and what it couldn't, and smells and all of that. Like, I couldn't even open the refrigerator. The refrigerator smelled disgusting to me. And my like nausea and morning sickness really continued into week 10, like very solidly. It was not giving up. So that was hard. I kid you guys not, I was glued to the couch for a month. I could not do anything, like absolutely nothing. There were a lot of Adam Sandler outfits. I did not care what I was wearing. I was not doing my hair. There was no makeup done, like barely any skincare, because I just could not do anything. So that was unfortunate, but it did give me a little bit of peace of mind, which I know might sound crazy because I didn't experience symptoms like that the first time around. I felt like maybe a little nauseous just right in the morning, just until I ate, but that's really it. I was not this level of sick, so I was hoping that was a good sign. And since I found out at 4 weeks, the earliest my doctor's office would see me was 8 weeks. So I had to wait a whole month until I could go to the doctor and just confirm everything was all good. So that waiting period was really hard, but I was also just violently ill. So that helped take my mind off of things just a little bit. I did ask when I initially called to make the appointment if they wanted me to do anything differently, like given my history and what happened last time. They said no. They offered for me to go have like my blood work done and drawn, like for my HCG levels to be tested until the appointment. So it would have been like weekly. I didn't feel like that was necessary or helpful, just because last time, since it was a miscarriage, like my HCG levels showed no sign that anything was wrong. They were actually where they were supposed to be initially. So I just felt like that wasn't going to be helpful. Getting your blood drawn constantly is not fun, and I already spent the entire summer having to do that. And it wasn't like they were telling me that they recommended it. It was more just like if this will make you comfortable, like we can do it. So I opted not to do that. But finally our 8-week appointment came, the first ultrasound, and it was such a relief. It was a night and day experience from the first time around, which is really nice. We had the most amazing tech that did my ultrasound. I absolutely loved her. And so that was really appreciated. Not that this matters, but the first time around, the tech was just like really cold. So that I didn't feel like that really helped given the situation. I mean, I guess it's fine, but I don't know. It just, she was so warm. The lady that we got, she was so kind, she was so excited, and she went right to baby. She went right to it, which I appreciated. That didn't happen the first time. The first time they took forever. They were just like going all around looking at my ovaries, which I understand is probably protocol, but the nurse or the tech that we were with for this appointment knew my history. She acknowledged that when we went into the room, and like I just really appreciated that she knew that we were nervous. We obviously were quite a bit anxious, and she went right to baby. She said everything looks good, and she let us hear the heartbeat. The heartbeat the first time was 170. She said it was nice and strong, and that was such a relief. It just took a lot of weight off of my shoulders, and I mean, it's just such a different experience going to that from the first time when you're not getting good news. So that gave me peace of mind. Obviously, I wanted to get to the next appointment, our 12-week appointment, and make sure all was well. But I mean, even just that initial appointment was really great. In between 8 weeks and the 12-week appointment, it was Christmas, so we got to start telling our family and like friends, which was so fun. We told Chris's family on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. My brothers came to town the 23rd, so we surprised both my brothers and my sister-in-law then, which was really fun. And yeah, it was just excited to like at least have family and close friends like know the news. The other thing that we did differently this time is we did actually tell some people quite early. We had told no one the first time around, so that was really unfortunate because it's like no one even knew I was pregnant, and then we told only a handful of people that I'd had the miscarriage, but that's already not fun news to tell. And then to tell people who didn't even know I was pregnant, it's just like, I didn't want to do that. So it felt really nice for some people to know. It also was great for me because my girlfriends would check in on me, like see how I was doing. I had people to talk to. They knew that I was anxious. They knew when our appointments were, and they checked in on me, and like, we're just so happy when everything was all good. So, you know, to each their own. Obviously everyone should do what they're comfortable with, but having done it both ways now, like, I felt so much better just having a really small group of people knowing just from the beginning, however early on, because I just felt like we had a little support group, and I liked that feeling. My appetite did start to get a little bit better. I would say week 11 and 12. I mean, I'm 14 weeks now, and I've gone since Friday, so Saturday, Sunday, Monday, what is today, Tuesday? I've gone 4 days without throwing up, which is great, but I would say the period of 11 weeks to 13 weeks, it was more like 2 days, every 2 days at least, I was getting sick, which is, you know, not ideal. I don't know if you all can see, but like literally the blood vessels in my eyelids are popped from getting sick so often. So that's been unfortunate. But the smells at least started to get better, which was nice. That helped tremendously. I still would have days where I would wake up and feel nauseous, or sometimes I wouldn't even wake up and feel nauseous. I would just get nauseous at some point during the day. It really would just depend, but I at least was starting to get more of a regular appetite back, which was a huge improvement. I started craving fruit, so like Granny Smith apples saved my life. I love how just sour they are. I've had one every single day for like the past few weeks. I just love them. They're really, really good. And same with strawberries. They have to be cut, like sliced up, but I eat apples and strawberries all the time. Green grapes have been really good. And then I've been making smoothies at home. Sometimes I put protein powder and sometimes not. Sometimes I can't do the smell. So I'm like, I will just take the fruit and the liquid, because I mean, not even water is good sometimes. That's a struggle. Lemonade has been really good, especially Chick-fil-A lemonade, which it was crazy. I didn't even like Chick-fil-A for a majority of my first trimester. Like, it was gross to me. I did not want it. Crazy, I know. And then, oh my gosh. Okay, so we made it to our 12-week appointment. Our 12-week appointment, I got to do an abdominal ultrasound, which I had never done before. That was really nice. It's I mean, if you know, you know. It's just like, I would prefer that than having to get undressed and do the wand. Like, I obviously will do whatever they tell me, but it was nice getting to do that. And we saw baby. That's what that ultrasound is from. Gosh, my heart literally melted because we saw its little profile, its little arms, legs. Its legs were crossed, which I thought was so cute. And you could see in some of the ultrasound pictures, it has its hand up by its face, which was just so cute. And it had the other behind its head. I obviously was in love. My heart was melting. And we found out my child is a wiggle worm. It was jumping up all over the place, like moving all around. Is actually crazy. And I know technically at 12 weeks, and even now they say like you can't feel baby, but I am convinced that that is why I've been nauseous. I mean, I looked at that ultrasound and I'm like, there is no way you're telling me this child is moving around like that and that is not causing me to be nauseous. Like, it's doing somersaults inside of me. But that was really fun to see. They confirmed like 2 arms, 2 legs, brain looked good, all of that. So that was really fun. And then during that appointment, I did the genetic testing. So I did a few things. I had my doctor do the neck measurement, which I found some people are familiar with, some people aren't. My doctor, you know, recommended to do multiple things, which I'll tell you the second part in a minute. But I obviously trust her, and I was like, by all means, like, let's do the neck measurement. So that's why we did that ultrasound, so she could measure the fluid at the base of baby's neck. And apparently the amount of fluid at the base of the neck is an indication of Down syndrome. So the neck measurements came back good. She said all looked well. And then I did the blood work for the genetic testing, and I decided to do the early gender testing. So that took right under a week. I had the appointment on a Wednesday. I got the results back on Tuesday. So it was pretty quick, and luckily everything came back good. Everything was negative, which it should be. And then obviously I got the gender, so I do know what we're having, and I will share soon. It's not gonna be a secret forever. I just didn't want to announce it at the same time as announcing the pregnancy. I just kind of wanted to space it out. So stay tuned. I am scared I'm gonna give it away. So I almost wish that I didn't know, because I'm just bad at hiding my own like surprises. But yeah, I can't wait to tell you guys. Chris and I both said from the beginning we absolutely did not care at all what we had, whether it was a boy or a girl. We just absolutely wanted a healthy baby. That was all that matters. And yeah, pretty much that was that. I had a gut feeling though on what it was, and he had a gut feeling on what it was. We both had a gut feeling on the same. So stay tuned. I'll tell you if we were correct or not. But yeah, it's just so crazy. I am excited to officially know what we're having, because I had not bought anything up until now. I felt like I couldn't, you know, really plan a lot until I knew, which might be crazy to some people, but I just like knowing. I feel like that just helps me really envision everything. So now that I know, I'm excited to start shopping. I'm excited to start coming up with nursery ideas, baby shower themes. I have so many hidden boards on Pinterest. And yeah, I'm so excited. It also just occurred to me, did I even tell you all the due date at the beginning of my video, or did I get sidetracked? If I didn't share it, it's July 22nd, which I'm so excited about. I'm so excited for my little summer baby. I think it'll be nice to have baby in the summer. I think the 3rd trimester, I'll obviously be dying and very hot. But I don't know, I like the timing of it, because I'm like, oh, I get to have baby in the summer. So I have, you know, so I'll get a little bit of time of like long summer days, like warmth and all of that, and then we go into cozy season. So I'm not mad about it. I think it'll be just a really nice time of year. I'm also a summer baby too, not until August, like end of August, but I love summer. It's like my favorite time of year. Now that I'm 14 weeks, I am really hoping I get some more energy back. I hope like everything kind of levels out with my appetite, and the nausea and morning sickness completely goes away. So fingers and toes are crossed, but we'll see. Regardless, I know it will all be so worth it. I will suck it up if I continue to be sick, but I would love to not be. I really would love to not be. But I'm also ready to just like get back into the swing of things and like film my usual type of content again. I just literally have struggled so hard the last month or so because I haven't felt good and I've been so sick. And the last few weeks here, like even when I have had some energy, I have not had a huge desire to film a bunch of outfit content because I feel like my stomach has been so noticeable, which I'm sure you guys noticed. Obviously to be expected, but I feel a lot more comfy now filming that content that you guys know. I feel like I have a hair on my lip. Than feeling like I have to try to hide it just because it's not huge, but to me, like, it's not noticeable. Like, it's definitely, my stomach is changing, my body is changing. My boobs are also ginormous. They have easily doubled in size. I don't fit in any of my bras anymore, so if anybody has suggestions of a good bra brand during pregnancy, let me know. I am gonna try to order just like a size up in my usual one from Victoria's Secret that I love, and pray that that fits, because I do love that bra, but I'm spilling out of mine, so that's not great. But as far as like my content goes, I do plan on you know, continuing to share my regular fashion and beauty content. I obviously, with this whole life shift, see myself working in more lifestyle content and things like that. But I don't plan on like overhauling any of my channels and just like making them all pregnancy or all maternity or all baby. That's just not me. I want to keep like the focus of my channels and my pages on like my fashion, my beauty, all of that, and then have like a sprinkle of everything else on the side. So that'll be fun. And hopefully I can work in some more vlogs too. I mean, I'm sure you guys noticed, but like over summer, I got a bit more into vlogging. And transparently, a huge part of that was just due to what I was going through with the miscarriage. My body was in such a weird place, and like I didn't feel good getting dressed and like putting clothes on. Also, this is TMI, but when you go through something like that, you are bleeding a lot. I bled the entire summer until I got my period back. And for a majority of it, you have to wear pads. So yeah, I didn't feel cute in any of my outfits. I just felt really gross. So hopefully like the shift over summer when I was adding in some vlogs, like kind of makes sense now, but that's why I started doing those. Because I wanted to keep making content. It makes me so happy, but I just felt so not myself and I didn't feel great like putting on all these outfits. I didn't even want to like shop really. But now that we're, you know, on the other side of things and past that, hopefully it can be a nice blend of both. I'm excited to share bump style and like dress the bump. I'm hoping I'll have motivation to get out of sweatpants. Honestly, just because they are so comfy right now. Same with leggings. And I like actually put together cute outfits. If you guys have noticed, I have gone up a size in my Abercrombie jeans with any new pair of jeans that I've been ordering. I do actually still have quite a few pairs of the size 25s that fit me, surprisingly. I'm sure they're not going to for much longer, but I have been sizing up to a 26 in hopes that, well, one, they're comfy now, and in hopes that I can wear them just like a little bit longer. So we will see. Jeans, I think, is going to be really, really interesting. And then I'm trying to think, I had done a Q&A on my Instagram, so I just referenced back some of the questions that I had gotten there to see if I missed anything, left anything out, which I'm sure I did. So by all means, if there's something that you guys have a question on that I didn't answer or didn't touch on in as much detail as you would like, please leave it down below, because I'm sure I'll do, oh great, I'm sure I'll do a variety of like little updates here and there in this long format type of video, just because I think it's helpful and I love sitting down just to chit chat too. But what I was going to say is, one of the questions that was asked about as I kind of shared like my journey with things was how getting off birth control was. And for me, it was a great experience. This is something I can go into way more detail if there's interest. Same kind of with the beginning topic of my miscarriage. But I had been on birth control for 15 years, so I was nervous to get off, but I'd been feeling for a really long time like that it just was long overdue. Like it needed to happen. I needed to stop taking it. And I'd had a conversation with my doctor way in advance of even thinking about trying and getting pregnant, starting a family, just because I wanted to have an idea of next steps. And she pretty much told me like 2 to 3 months out from deciding to start trying, like take a prenatal, you can stop your birth control, and she said you just need to have one regular period and then you're good to go. You can start trying. So in November of 2022, I decided to stop taking my birth control after being on it for 15 years, which is insane. Like I wish so badly I hadn't taken it for that long, but hindsight is 2020. But I got off. I was very lucky. My period came like maybe a week to 2 weeks later than it normally does, but nonetheless it came and all was well. And we just kind of let my body figure itself out for a little bit. And then January of 2023, we decided like, whatever happens, happens. So we weren't trying, but we weren't not trying. And I was using Flow already by then to track my cycles. So I had an idea of everything. I had it in my mind, like I really thought it was gonna take a super long time for me to get pregnant just because I had been on birth control for so long. Even though my doctor, I mean, she didn't say that it would. She literally didn't. There was nothing that gave me that information. It was just an assumption I had in my head. So in my mind, I really thought like, it's probably gonna be, you know, until August, until I get pregnant. But as you know, fast forward to April, I ended up finding out I was pregnant that first time. So it, you know, in the grand scheme of things, it didn't take that long, which was really lucky. I am super grateful for that. As I mentioned in the beginning, it just, the entire journey of it all felt like a long time because there were some bumps in the road along the way. But I really didn't experience any bad side effects getting off my birth control. I felt amazing. Mentally, I felt good. My body felt really good. My periods, they changed a lot post birth control. I felt like I was back in middle school again. My period was longer by a few days. Like on birth control, it was usually on the lighter side of things. It was only 4 to 5 days. It was usually brown every time. So like obviously it's blood that's been sitting inside of you. It's old. Off of birth control, my periods were consistent 6 to 7 days. My cramps were way more intense. Like I would usually have a day during my period where I would just have to chill out with a heating pad and not do anything. But like I mentioned, they were 6 to 7 days overall. Cycles were pretty consistent. They would vary by like a day or two. And the color of the blood, night and day. Like, sorry if that's TMI, but that was so eye-opening to me, seeing the difference in like the amount of blood on my periods after birth control and the color of it. I just realized how much birth control was suppressing my period. I mean, I guess that's the best way to say it. I don't know. I look back and I'm like, I don't feel like my body was able to do what it really needed to do on birth control. So I can't really see myself ever getting back on it, but I personally had a great experience getting off. I felt really good getting off. I did start to get acne, but it was delayed and it was in April. So it was also around the time that I found out I was pregnant. So I can't sit here and say it was because of the birth control, because my hormones were going wild and continued to for the next however many months. Obviously, to each their own. Like everyone should do 1000% what is best for them. I'm not trying to sway anybody either way. That's just my personal experience. And I obviously had to get off because we did know that we wanted to start a family eventually. I was 30 when I got off birth control. So yeah, it was time. It was absolutely time. All right, you guys, well, I know this was really long, super chatty, but I'm so glad the news is out. I feel really happy that you guys know and I can just share everything openly now. I'm just really excited for everything that's to come. I can't wait for this next chapter and just becoming a mom. That feels crazy to say. But I'm just looking forward to it. So like I mentioned, if there's anything else that you have questions on, anything that I missed, leave them down below. I'll continue to share little updates, do little chatty get ready with me's here and there. And if there's anything else like pregnancy, bump style, anything like that related that you want to see, let me know, because it always helps to hear from you guys. And then for those of you who are not in this stage of life, do not worry. I will still be sharing all of my regular content as normally scheduled. So I love you guys so much, and until next time. I'm already on my way, on my way. You blushing, sweet concussion. Oh, you miss my touching.